Hi there. So this video is going to be a bit of a mixed bag. It is the 1st of November. Welcome to the new month, everyone. Um, and of course, it's the first day of Dia de Muertos. And I'm looking at the altar over there, the ofrenda that Timo put together. He's not here right now. He's off with his dance troupe in Canberra doing an all-day celebration for which they're being paid. Of course, they should be. We did something at the university, sponsored by Mosaic, and actually everyone there, including myself, yes, fuck the colony and fuck turfs, were women. So it was a beautiful context because Mosaic is a group of culturally and racially and linguistically diverse women. And I gave a general talk about the significance of Day of the Dead beyond the kind of more commercialized elements, and showed some photos and told some personal stories. And then Timo arrived with tamales and the pan de muerto and the champurrao. So then he was happy to talk about how Day of the Dead is observed in Tlacotepec Plumas. I have always trouble saying that. In the Mixteca Alta. And people were just dazzled and moved, and like so many beautiful conversations afterwards, and we played music and we ate. So yeah, that was probably one of the peak experiences in the past week, besides taking part in the workshop on community-based research. That was also really beautiful. I've been really exhausted though, and this has also been the week where I've been trying to summon up the courage to go and make a police report to my about my abusers, and this is kind of a step that is recommended for criminal injury cases like the one I'm pursuing. I won't go into any detail. I made a video before where I did, and I just decided to take it down because even though I provided a lot of care notes and stuff like that, it was really to prepare myself for the police station, but there was no one to take me there, and no kind of intake officer or attendant person, so I don't know, I just have put it off. I really, really need that one person just to be able to be there for me, because it's harder than what people would imagine. I think that unless it's experienced by you and as a consequence reverberates through your life, it's hard to see it except as a procedural matter, and it's more than that. It takes a lot of energy and courage, and I'm always supporting certain others that I don't always get reciprocation. And isn't Day of the Dead all about that? I am a very emotional person. That much is true. And sometimes I don't know about boundaries. But anyway, I'm going off track. It's been an interesting couple of days. I applied for a part-time job that pays quite well, but I don't know if I'll get it. So not putting tabs on that one, but I'm still keeping my eyes open and looking at opportunities when they arise. But I found out about this one 2 hours before the submission date would close. So can you imagine me, bleary-eyed? Yes, just like in my last video where I read all that poetry. On that note, Loop Vertigo, I'm going to, once I start publishing more than one poem, because one of the poems from Loop Vertigo is going to appear in an anthology this month. I'll just be in Boricua, in Puerto Rico, so I won't be able to be at the launch. I have to publish more of those poems, and they've been submitted, but they take, excuse my French, fucking ages to make a decision and get back to you, and you get put through the rinse cycle and the wash cycle. I mean, this is not unfamiliar for me. I've worked for years in publishing, academic publishing, but it's also true of academic publishing. A lot of it's run on volunteer labour. Yes. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, let me just adjust myself. I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened to me this morning after submitting the job application. And I went upstairs into the room that Timo sleeps in, lives in. I had bought the other day some skincare products, and I just thought I would put them in there for him. And I saw this card, a birthday card, sticking out of one of the drawers, open drawers, of the desk that used to be where I worked at, but it's in the room that I don't share with him now. Anyway, so I pulled it out and I thought, this must be recent. Like, it made me think of my own birthday, because my own birthday was the 22nd of October, that very hot day. I pulled it out and it was a birthday card from my mum that I can't remember having seen in eons, honestly. And I don't remember putting it in that desk, on that shelf or drawer. I don't know how this is going to transcribe, so I've got to be careful of my Australian accent. And I just burst into tears. Oh my God. I felt incredibly moved, because it was my mom, probably when I was living in Mexico, reaching out to me and connecting through this pop-up card full of cacti. And I just realized how much I really, really miss her. This is Day of the Dead, and this is when we welcome them back into our world. And my mum's photo is on the altar right now. But she's always with me in one way or another. And even someone at the event said that I look just like her. So bully to all you people out there that would say, you're not nothing like a woman. I'm my mother's child. End of story. My mum accepted me. So I'm not entering into those discussions if there's any lurkers out there. Just like Lydia Thorpe, I'm going to use her energy. You don't get to say. But anyway, I guess my mum had a toughness about her as well. But she was extremely spiritual. Extremely. She had a sixth sense. And there's a couple of anecdotes that I was recalling today. And one of those was when she stayed at my sister-in-law's, not sure when, she'd slept in a spare room or something like that, and when she got up in the morning and came to breakfast, she said to my sister-in-law, who's Noongar, Aboriginal, from Perth, from the southwest, from Wajik Noongar, Buja, she mentioned her Carol's grandfather's name. My mum hadn't been told, right? She hadn't been told the name, and said she'd been talking with him overnight. And apparently my brother, who obviously is her husband, also added to that when I posted about it and said that my mum had contacted Mark's father, and he was really happy with their reunion. A number of other things as well. So my mum had this gift, and unfortunately in the West, not saying that Australia is the West because this is Aboriginal land, but in the impositions of the West here, but also in other parts, that's seen as kind of irrational or delusional. And to be sure, my mum had some really way out, at times, cosmological ways of looking at things, including her belief in reincarnation. But that's not unusual, because that's very inspired by Indic philosophies, and my mum was a ravenous learner for such things. She trained under one of the Swamis in Perth. One of the names that was very constant in our childhood was Swami Vishnu Devananda. Now, she probably trained onto him his instructional videos at a centre. I'm trying to remember the name of the centre. And there was another Swami, and I believe that that's probably the kind of person that led her through her yogic training. But the centre would have been the outreach of Swami Vishnu Devananda, and so that name was so important in our childhood. All respects, because my mum was a very good yoga practitioner and taught it to women. And I've practiced yoga over the years as well, but yeah, probably never be as good as mum, including with singing. She had the most divine voice, pitch perfect, everything. So I've been thinking a lot about mum and mothering. And, you know, mothers, we have different qualities. There's also Kali. You know, like, mothers can get angry. And I can get angry as well. That doesn't mean abuse. What it means is not just being this constant giver. You know what I mean? Like, even when you have, in my mum's case, spiritual energies, you have to place boundaries as well, and people have to learn to grow up. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway, so Loop Vertigo I'm going to dedicate to my mom, and I'm going to try to pitch it once I've got some more of the poems in print to Vagabond. I can't speak. I'm thinking in Spanish with the B and the V. Vagabond Press. Vagabond Press. That's the one I'm going to start with. And with Isthmus, which is a new poem, I actually have, I think, 36 poems, something like that. So it's a shortage collection, but it does actually meet or fit the bill for presses like Vagabond Press. So I'm going to end here by making reference to Isthmus. I wrote, reading and writing go together. I wrote it in the middle of forceful winds on one of those unseasonably cold spring days where the weather just flipped and I was outside. And I was in a writing workshop with Shuman Lahiri and with Sarah Simota. And I didn't write a letter, which was more the direction we were headed. But wind, air, change came to the fore. And Señor Ejecatl. So there's so many influences in our lives, and being open and listening intently is really important. Honouring your ancestors today and on other days as well, but maintaining that connection, moving between realms, not putting out that fire.